Though the explosive fallout between Shaunie O'Neal and Brooke Bailey only recently reached the legal stage, the tension between them has existed in various forms for years. From the earliest seasons of Basketball Wives LA, Shaunie has always been careful about who she brings into her inner circle and who gets elevated within the franchise. While Brooke appeared to be a favorite in early episodes, insiders say that cracks in the relationship began to form behind the scenes. Shaunie's leadership style has always blended professionalism with personal engagement. She often acted as both producer and confidante. But sources close to production suggest that Shaunie grew wary of Brooke's on-camera unpredictability and off-camera behavior. Rumors swirled that Brooke frequently challenged production notes, refused to film scenes that didn't benefit her image, and sometimes clashed with editors over how she was portrayed. Still, the relationship endured. For a time, Brooke was a powerful asset, a compelling mix of glamour and grit that gave the show its signature drama. Yet as time went on, and other cast members became more compliant and less confrontational, Brooke's refusal to conform increasingly set her apart. What was once an asset began to feel like a liability. Shaunie may not have said it publicly, but by the time the Atlanta incident occurred, her patience had likely already worn thin. The Atlanta meltdown, a turning point filmed, then forgotten. The infamous scene filmed in Atlanta that allegedly pushed production into chaos was never aired in full, and now viewers know why. What began as a storyline about loyalty and betrayal ended up unraveling under its own weight. Brooke reportedly accused a fellow cast member of spreading lies about her family, serious claims that sparked real concern among the group. The confrontation, according to on-set witnesses, was intense. Brooke broke down in tears, accused another woman of jealousy and manipulation, and stormed off the set in a blaze of emotional fury. Cameras caught it all, but when producers investigated the source of the allegations, they found no evidence. There was no third-party feeding rumors. The person Brooke accused was blindsided and devastated. This discovery created a production crisis. Should they air the scene and risk defamation, or cut it entirely and lose valuable footage? Ultimately, the scene was buried. But behind the scenes, the damage was done. Cast members began to lose trust in Brooke. Producers felt misled. And Shaunie O'Neal, aware of the implications for the show's authenticity, reportedly decided that something more decisive needed to happen. Brooke's growing isolation. From center stage to cast out after the Atlanta blow-up, the shift in energy around Brooke Bailey became palpable. Castmates who once shared screen time with her began distancing themselves publicly and privately. Malaysia Pargo was among the first to unfollow her on social media. Others followed suit, removing photos and cutting off communication. This quiet ostracization wasn't just the result of the Atlanta incident. According to several insiders, Brooke had begun to alienate herself well before that. She was reportedly frustrated with her limited screen time, felt sidelined in favor of newer cast members, and believed she deserved a larger narrative arc. Rather than adapt, she fought back, sometimes by disrupting storylines, other times by refusing to participate in scenes that didn't center her. Eventually, she found herself in an increasingly isolated position. When production halted her filming schedule, she received no formal goodbye, no farewell episode, and no exit statement. Just silence. The way she disappeared from the show became its own unspoken message. And when fans began to ask questions, Brooke responded the only way she knew how: cryptic posts and indirect threats aimed at those she believed had wronged her. Shaunie O'Neal's new era. Rebranding, reputation, and reluctant retaliation, Shaunie O'Neal's public persona has changed drastically over the past 3 years. Once known solely for her involvement in reality TV, she has shifted focus to personal growth, spirituality, and family. Her marriage to Pastor Kayan Henderson positioned her as a woman of faith and purpose. Her Instagram timeline is now filled with motivational quotes, church functions, and uplifting messages, a stark contrast to the explosive drama that defined her TV career. But make no mistake, Shaunie remains a savvy businesswoman. Her decision to pursue legal action against Brooke Bailey wasn't just about personal betrayal. It was about protecting the brand she built. The implications of Brooke's threats were enormous. A public claim that the show's drama was staged or fake could destroy the trust of fans and advertisers. For Shaunie, who now has spiritual leadership tied to her name, such claims could also harm her personal reputation. By taking legal action, Shaunie has drawn a line. She's showing that her new identity doesn't mean she's lost control. If anything, It's a power move that reinforces her authority in a space where blurred lines often go unchecked. It signals that she is no longer willing to tolerate unchecked insubordination, especially when it threatens the legacy of her franchise and the trajectory of her rebrand. The fans respond. Divide, disappointment, and demands for clarity. The audience of Basketball Wives has always been vocal. But the Brooke Bailey saga has triggered an unprecedented level of fan reaction. Social media platforms like Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram have been flooded with theories, hashtags, and emotional commentary. Some fans support Shaunie's decision to protect the show. Others view Brooke as a whistleblower punished for daring to challenge authority. The hashtag #Justice for Brooke began trending, with supporters analyzing old clips for signs of deeper bias. Fans questioned why other cast members were allowed to exaggerate their storylines without consequence. They demanded consistency, fairness, and transparency from producers. Others pointed out Shaunie's past silence on similar matters and accused her of picking and choosing whom to hold accountable based on personal loyalty. Meanwhile, loyalists to Shaunie argued that Brooke's behavior was reckless and damaging. They believed the legal notice was necessary, not punitive. To them, Brooke crossed a professional boundary that no cast member should breach. As the fan base divides, the show risks losing the unity that once made it a community. Viewers who once watched for escapism are now engaged in ethical debates about production values, power dynamics, and the price of authenticity. The industry watches. How one scandal exposes an entire genre. What makes this feud especially consequential is how it mirrors a larger reckoning happening across reality television. The Brooke Bailey legal drama isn't just about one show or one cast member. It shines a light on the deep contradictions that exist within the industry. Reality TV wants real emotions, but often manufactures the conditions for them. It asks cast members to be vulnerable, but punishes them when they try to control the narrative. Former reality stars from other franchises have begun weighing in. Some have called Brooke brave. Others have warned her that going against a major network is a losing game. What everyone seems to agree on, however, is that the lines between truth and television are becoming dangerously thin. Brooke's implied receipts, whether they exist or not, have sparked panic not only within Basketball Wives, but also in other productions that rely on similar formulas. This incident could mark a turning point for how producers and cast members negotiate power. Legal notices, NDA, and defamation claims are becoming more common. As audiences demand more transparency and integrity, networks may have no choice but to rethink how they structure and control the reality narratives they profit from. The Brooke Bailey and Shaunie O'Neal conflict could become a landmark moment in that transformation. Brooke's next move, tell-alls, lawsuits, and the fight for redemption despite the legal notice, Brooke Bailey has made it clear she is not backing down. Whispers from insiders say she is considering several high-profile interviews, a podcast partnership, and even legal action of her own. Her goal, reportedly, is not just to defend herself, but to take back the narrative entirely. There's speculation that Brooke has retained legal counsel and may be preparing to challenge her firing, especially if she can prove that production staff encouraged her to fabricate drama. If she has evidence to back up her claims, it could open the door to lawsuits not only against the producers, but also the network itself. What Brooke ultimately chooses to do remains uncertain. But one thing is clear: she no longer views herself as just a former reality star. She sees herself as someone who was discarded unfairly, and she wants to tell the world her version of the story. Whether that story vindicates her or destroys the franchise depends entirely on what she decides to reveal next. Conclusion: the line between reality and fiction has been shattered in the end. The feud between Shaunie O'Neal and Brooke Bailey is not just about egos, legal threats, or reality TV theatrics. It is a mirror reflecting the larger questions that reality television has never wanted to answer. What happens when the quest for entertainment turns into exploitation? When authenticity becomes performance? And when the people we watch for drama begin to crack under the weight of constant fabrication? Shaunie's legal action may protect the business. Brooke's defiance may change the game, but neither woman walks away untouched. Their clash marks a rupture in the industry, a reminder that behind every staged fight, there is a very real person navigating fame, pressure, and public scrutiny. Whatever happens next, basketball wives can never return to what it once was. The veil has been lifted, and fans now see more than what the cameras show. The Brooke Bailey saga will be remembered not just as a scandal, but as a moment that forced reality TV to confront the reality behind its name.